Welcome everyone to today's Listening Part 3, Listening for Information Analysis. Before we start, I want to let you know that I will be following the Listening Part 3, Listening for Information Tips and Strategies guide. We can find this guide in our CELPIP library. In the Listening Part 3 section, we have a video about some excellent tips and strategies that you can use for part 3 to make you listen more effectively and answer the questions more effectively. So I will leave a link in the description box to our CELPIP library. And if you're interested in that video, it will really help you out, okay? For now, I'm only going to be quickly reviewing the pages of that guide, okay? The guide tells you about how to listen effectively. For example, listen in full sentence mode, not vocabulary mode. Very important. And also, what information should we focus on? This is very important for every listening part, such as understanding the situation and the context. Okay. Also, what do we do when we are listening to the questions? Repeating the question is a very important tip. And what should we do when we are responding to questions? Yes, what can we do? What are some good strategies? So you can pause this video to read that guide over, or you can watch the video in the CELPIP library. For now, let's get started with today's analysis. So everyone, I'm just here in the Listening Part 3, Listening for Information section of the CELPIP library. And today we're going to analyze Listening Part 3 from Volume 9 called Urban Parks. Okay, so let's get started. So then everyone, I want to remind you that I'm going to give you a chance to do the listening for yourself. So first, you can do the listening. Okay, let's listen to the conversation. And while we listen to the conversation, everyone, it's so important for lower levels, especially 5, 6, to listen and repeat as much information as you can. When you are listening, try to repeat ideas. Okay, ideas. Try to repeat ideas, full sentences, not words. Okay, because if you try to repeat words or little bits of information, that can confuse you. So try to repeat full sentences. For example, the woman is going to the store. The man is going to help the woman. The woman enjoys running, like that. Okay? Now, for higher levels, of course, taking notes if you can. If you can take notes and write notes, that's great. As long as it doesn't block you from listening or takes your focus away from the listening. Sometimes it's so easy to make mistakes with that, okay? And then for the questions, so after the listening, I will play each question and I will read the answer out for you so you can think about it. And let's not forget that we have 20 seconds between questions, okay? 20 to 25 seconds. And so when we are looking at the answers, in this part, everyone, this is where your knowledge or what information you can recall will help you, and hopefully full sentences. And when we look at the answers, and what I will try to show today is how to make the differences between the answers, okay? But after we will analyze together. First, right now, Let's get started with the listening. Okay?
Listening for information. You will hear a conversation followed by 6 questions. Listen to each question. You will hear the question only once. Choose the best answer to each question.
Hey, Jean Marie, have you heard? The city is putting a new multi use path through the park.
A multi use path. What's that?
It's a path for multiple uses. Everyone and everything is allowed on it. People can walk on the path, and people can bike on the path as well. In fact, I think maybe even motorized vehicles are allowed.
That doesn't sound very safe. Surely they wouldn't allow cars and motorcycles on the same path as pedestrians and cyclists.
No, but I think ATVs are allowed. You know, those machines with four wheels and a very loud engine. But you're right, it isn't safe. Every time I ride my bike on a multi use path, I have to be careful not to hit any pedestrians. People who walk don't stay in their own lane, so to speak. They don't signal when they turn, and I never know when they're going to just stop.
At least you're careful. I'll bet a lot of cyclists aren't. I'm surprised there aren't a lot of accidents on multi use paths.
So am I. I get especially nervous when there's kids. They're all over the place. And strollers and baby carriages. I'm terrified of running right into one.
So, why don't they make separate paths? One for bikes and one for pedestrians, and one for, what did you call them? ATVs.
That would be much safer, but I imagine the environmentalists would complain because there would be 3 times as much green paved over.
Well, would all three have to be in the same place? Wouldn't cyclists be just as happy with a trail somewhere else?
My thoughts exactly. I don't know why the city doesn't put a bike trail through a bush somewhere on the outskirts. They could make it longer, and honestly, it would be a lot more fun than the paved paths in the parks.
That's a great idea. Why don't you write a letter to the mayor's office? You could make a case for a bike trail somewhere out in the woods.
I did, as soon as I heard about the multi use path, but I never heard back.
Oh, that's disappointing. I thought our new mayor was better than that. I voted for him. Question.
Let's get to the questions.
What does the conversation imply?
The city is trying to reduce driving. So, to reduce driving, people are driving their bikes less. The city is trying to encourage bike riding. The city has transportation issues.
Question 2.
What is likely true about the woman?
She prefers riding bicycles than driving. She would rather not have bike paths. She enjoys bike riding in the woods. She would like to have more bike paths. Riding in the woods.
Question 3.
Which of these options best describes the man's opinion?
He thinks the city is on the right path. He thinks the bike path is problematic. He thinks bike paths should be in parks. He wants to cycle more. Hmm.
Question 4.
What is the woman worried about?
Cyclists cause too many accidents. The size of bike paths. Pedestrians walking on bike paths. The likelihood of accidents.
Question 5.
What is the man's purpose in talking to the woman?
To provide her information, to offer assistance, to request her opinion, to suggest an activity. Suggest, request, offer, provide.
Question 6.
What will likely happen next?
The man will write the city as suggestion. The woman will ride her bike more. The man will follow up on his email. The woman will complain to the city. So then, everyone, let's get to answering the questions, okay? All right, I hope you did well. Let's read question 1 over here. You were just in the script section here. Question 1. What does the conversation imply? Imply or suggest? What is it in general trying to suggest? The city is trying to reduce driving, maybe. People are driving their bikes less. I don't remember about driving their bikes less. I think it was more they're making a bike path. The city is trying to encourage, motivate, promote, support bike riding, maybe. And the city has transportation issues, transportation problems. I didn't hear that one. I think it's more C. The city is trying to encourage bike riding. So let's look at the first part. Hey, Jean Marie, have you heard the city's put in a new multi-use path through the park? Multi-use path? What's that? It's a path for multi-uses. Everyone and everything is allowed on it. People can walk on the path and people can bike on the path as well. In fact, I think maybe even motorized vehicles are allowed. So even cars can go on there. So not trying to reduce driving less. Surely they wouldn't. No, but I think ATVs are allowed, those machines. Okay, so ATVs, not cars, with 4 wheels and a very loud engine. But you're right, it isn't safe. Every time I ride my bike on a multi-use path, I have to be careful not to hit any pedestrians. Okay. All right. So I think this is the better answer. They're trying to encourage bike riding and not in general, but it's for everything. So now let's look at number 2. What is likely true of the woman? So what is true of her from what we read? She prefers riding bicycles? No, than driving. She would rather not have bike paths. She enjoys bike riding in the woods. Nope, not in the woods. She would like to have more bikes. So more bike paths, not have bike paths. So B is the answer because she says it's dangerous to have these bike paths with pedestrians. Same as pedestrians and cyclists. At least you're careful. I bet a lot of cyclists aren't. I'm surprised there aren't a lot of accidents on multi-use paths. So cyclists aren't. They aren't safe, is what she's trying to say. Okay. So she would rather not have bike paths because cyclists aren't careful. Okay. What about number 3? Which of these options best describes the man's opinion? Okay, so the man's opinion. He thinks the city is on the right path, so they're going on the right direction, they're doing the right thing. No. He thinks the bike path is problematic. He agrees with the woman, so yes. He thinks bike paths should be in parks, not really. He wants to cycle more, not about cycling more. So he agrees with the woman. The woman says it's problematic and he agrees. So am I. I get especially nervous when there's kids. They're all over the place and strollers and baby carriages. I'm terrified of running into one. So it's talking about bike paths and cyclists, okay? So he agrees with the woman. Okay. Question number 4. What is the woman worried about? Cyclists cause too many accidents? Maybe the size of bike paths. Not the size. Pedestrians walking on bike paths. The likelihood, possibility of accidents. So this one, she is concerned about that. She is concerned about them, but why? Because there's a possibility or likelihood of accidents. That should be the correct answer. Okay. And what about question 5? What is the man's purpose in talking to the woman? The reason. To provide her information? Yes. To offer assistance? No, he's not helping her. To request her opinion? To ask her what she thinks? Didn't really say to suggest an activity. No. Now, he said in the beginning, I remember he said, have you heard they are doing this? He's telling her about what they are going to do, what the city is planning to do. The city's putting a new multi-use path through the park. So he's providing her information, okay? And what about number 6? What will likely happen next? I like those questions. We need to think. These are indirect questions, everyone. Sometimes the questions are indirect. So from what we heard, we need to imagine what will happen. Let's remember that. Also, what is likely true of the woman? These questions are indirect. Sometimes low-level listeners, they want everything to be direct. Here's the question, here's the answer. Here's the question, here's the answer. No. Indirect means from what we heard, what could be the answer? The man will write the city a suggestion. Well, he said he wrote it already. The woman will ride her bike more. No, because she doesn't like bike paths. The man will follow up on his email. Now, I remember he said he wrote an email. Follow up means check or write another email to check what's going on, to ask what's going on. That means follow up. The woman will complain to the city? Maybe. But I think it's C from what we heard. Okay. That's a great idea. Why don't you write a letter to the mayor's office? You could make a case for a bike trail somewhere out in the woods. I did as soon as I heard about the multi-use path, but I never heard back. That's disappointing. I thought our new mayor was better than that. I voted for him. So there you go. So maybe he's going to check. He's going to write, whatever happened to that email that I sent? The man will follow up on his email. He will check. Okay? All right, everyone. I think we got them all over here. Okay. Well, we didn't get 12. I think that grade point is wrong there. From part 3, the most you can get is 6 or 7. Okay. I mean, if you got it all correct from the other parts. So everyone, it's a very good idea to review the answers. We need to review the answers along with the questions. Here are the questions and the scripts. We should review the scripts, read them, analyze them for information, check vocabulary. This is a very good idea. Okay. And I will also be leaving a link in the description box to a follow-up listening review, version 2 of this exam. Many times there are version 2s of the same listening and on the CELPIP exam as well. Okay. Could be you could have this listening on there, just different answers with different questions, or questions could be the same. The answers will be different. Okay. Also, if you want more, if you need more listening practice, our CELPIP library has over 60 examples or more. Okay, everyone, with version 2s. And And also, here we have a discount code. Yes, discount code CELPIP79. You can get a 3-month subscription with over 60 exam samples for only $10, $10.99, $11. It's a very good deal, everyone. If you want to use that code, you can just go here and register. Let's remember, everyone, practice makes perfect. I would like to remind you that if you're looking for some more listening, reading, writing, or speaking CELPIP exam practice, then you should definitely subscribe to our CELPIP library. The CELPIP library has hundreds of examples of listening, reading, writing, and speaking, which will help you develop your score, whatever the score you need. Also, the library contains vocabulary, listening skills, reading skills, grammar, and writing skills exercises, which will really help you improve your general understanding of English and also for the exam. So, and you can purchase a 1-month pass or a 2-month or a 3-month subscription for a very low price. And of course, if you really enjoyed this content, then please like this video, share it, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel. That way we will keep on producing more CELPIP analysis for your development. Have a great day.